Oh, they don't want to know. Joining us now, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. Sarah, just your general reaction to all of this first, and you're being attacked today also.
Look, I think that the White House is in a great position, and what we've been saying for the last 2.5 years is finally, I think, totally been vindicated. The president is completely exonerated, no collusion, no obstruction. I find it absolutely outrageous that people like Jake Tapper, you showed a clip a few minutes ago of him saying, I can't believe Barr has said no collusion so many times, when they have been saying that there was collusion every single day, all day, for the last 2.5 years. It is outrageous the way that the media and Democrats have behaved. And frankly, the meltdown that we saw unfold on TV today is truly astonishing. But it's a great day in America, not just because it's a great day for the president, but it's a good thing when they can say that not just the president, not just his campaign, but no American was involved in colluding with a foreign government. And it's a sad day in America when Democrats and members of the liberal media are sad that it didn't happen. To me, that's the most mind-blowing thing of this, that they would actually want someone from their own country to have worked with a foreign government to take down the president and interfere with the election. The sad truth is the one that we've known all along. President Trump is president because he had a better message, a better vision, and he simply outworked his opponent. He beat Hillary Clinton fair and square.
They were spying on his campaign. The Attorney General mentioned it. They freaked out, but it's true. They also used the dirty dossier to get in the back door through Carter Page. But then you had Stefan Halper working on behalf of the deep state and going after Papadopoulos and Carter Page and Sam Clovis. Let me ask you, so the media is attacking you today because I guess in the testimony you gave, you had said your FBI, a lot of the FBI people you know were, well, I can tell you, let me put it this way. Every FBI rank and file guy, the 99.9% I know, have all thanked me because they're hurt, this is the premier law enforcement agency in the world. Just like our intelligence community, same thing. The premier intelligence community in the world. They were hurt by a few at the top, and they're angry about it. And you said that, but explain.
Absolutely. Look, I acknowledged that I had a slip of the tongue when I used the word countless, but it's not untrue. And certainly you just echoed exactly the sentiment, and the point that I was making is that a number of both current and former FBI agents agreed with the president. James Comey was a disgraced leaker who tried to politicize and undermine the very agency he was supposed to run. Firing James Comey remains one of the best decisions that the president made. The only problem is he could have done it sooner, and maybe it would have been a better thing, but it was absolutely the right decision. And every day since that, he's proven that he was right all along.
I got it right. He could be fired for any reason and no reason at all, in his own words. All right, Sarah, thank you. We're going to continue my monologue in just a second, but first, joining us is the president's attorney, Jay Sekulow, also the chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice. Yes, he has done legal work for me in the past for the 4,000th time. You know, Jay, I have your letter. I read your statement. It's everything you've been saying, Rudy's been saying, Dowd, others before. Unprecedented cooperation, no collusion, no Russia collusion, no obstruction.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what the report says, because it's 400 pages and there's a lot to read, but let me give you the top line findings of Bob Mueller. These are statements that are contained in the report. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The investigation did not establish that the contact described in Volume 1, that's the entire issue of collusion, amounted to an agreement to commit any violation of federal criminal law, including foreign influence or campaign finance laws. In other words, there was no evidence sufficient enough to bring any kind of case regarding any violations of these statutes. The investigation did not identify evidence that any U.S. person conspired for coordinating with the IRA. Those are the ones that were alleged to be involved in hacking. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Further, the evidence was not sufficient. In any case, this is an interesting one, too, that everybody's glossing over, that says that there was any conspiracy with any representative of the Russian government regarding the 2016 election. I could go on for pages and pages. The point is, this investigation started because of allegations about conspiracy or collusion, as it was called, regarding the Trump campaign and the Russian government or Russian agents. This report not only vindicates the president completely, but the fact is that the president of the United States has gone through a 2.5-year investigation. By the way, it's actually long, it went back to we know it started in 2016. It was called Crossfire Hurricane. It's been going on for almost 3 years. And the parameter at which it was set was to determine Russian interference with the election and was there any involvement with the president or the campaign, and the answer was no, there was not. And that was the basis upon which this entire investigation started.
The Attorney General Barr said the other day, and there was a media freakout over it, that yes, the Trump campaign was spied upon. Now, It happened a number of ways. It happened vis-a-vis the FISA warrant full of the Hillary bought and paid for, of all things, Russian lies as the bulk of information, according to the Grassley Graham memo. But also, Stefan Halper was empowered to meet George Papadopoulos and Sam Clovis and Carter Page. Are we really to believe the origins of this, as they claim, was George Papadopoulos and a drink set up? Do you believe that origin? Because that would not warrant what has just happened to this country.
You know, I never thought I would say this, that I agreed with Peter Strzok, the agent that was had the text mails regarding the president back and forth with Lisa Page. But he said there was no there there. Guess what? There was no there there. But here's what's important. Now we have to find out what is the origin of this. The Attorney General said something last week very important, that spying on a campaign is a big deal. And when you have a situation, which we know happened here, when you have a situation like this that has taken place, you have to get now to the bottom of this, because I represent this president, but some lawyer in the future is going to represent another president. And for the sake of the presidency, no president should have to go through what this president has gone through on this issue. Unprecedented. By the way, not only was it unprecedented in its scope, but it was unprecedented in the response that we provided to that office of special counsel. We gave over, I say we, the White House, the president, the campaigns, 1.4 million pages of documents, hundreds of witness interviews, and on, and no executive privilege. And I love the chyrons on the networks this morning, redacted report coming, and then of course it comes, and guess what? Not much redaction. The only thing that's really redacted that was significant is 16 material, which has to be, and there wasn't that much of that. So the reality is this was as transparent as any investigation and any administration, in my view, in U.S. history.
Jay, you know, on the obstruction side of things, Mueller didn't make the definitive decision, but the Attorney General did in counsel with the Office of Legal Counsel, even Rod Rosenstein, which is interesting to me.
Well, he made
something very interesting.
One thing here, Sean, he actually did, because he made a determination, because in this sense,
it's determinative.
If there was a case of obstruction, believe me, he would have stated
exactly.
it without any apology. He did not.
Here's the point, though. Now, we now know for a fact that they were talking about taping the president without his knowledge and consent. They were talking about invoking the 25th Amendment. Now, they didn't do it. Donald Trump didn't hide the fact that this was a witch hunt. He acted, to me, as somebody who was innocent. He was screaming his innocence loudly and expressing frustration justifiably against Rod Rosenstein, Robert Mueller, his team of merry Democratic donors, Jeannie Ray, Clinton's former attorney, Andrew Weissman with his atrocious record. He was going after all of them. He said it all publicly. And that's the list of 10. And I'm saying, okay, now, if that's obstruction, then that means anybody that proclaims their innocence loudly and clearly would be obstructing. That is the biggest,
it's called the First
example.
Amendment. Yeah, it's called the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. The president, like every other citizen, has the freedom of speech. Here was a president that was under attack from the moment he came down the elevator to till this morning or this afternoon when the report came out, has been under attack. We know that there's been this inquiry has been going on, as I said, for 3 years, and the president defended himself. He had the constitutional right to do that. He did it. And for that, now, for the country's sake, we don't let this happen again, ever again. when a situation like this. That's why you got to find out how this started. I think the Attorney General is going to do the right thing.
Well,
no
I
question.
can tell you, there is an avalanche, as I have been reporting, coming in days and weeks ahead. We will hold them accountable. I am not letting this go because what they did is wrong and illegal and an abuse of power, and it's corrupt. Jay, great job to you, Rudy, your entire team, and thank you for all you did.